Indeed. Mm. Mm. The first thing we're wanting to address here, dear one, is the question, is that correct? We are going to say to you that we use the word discernment in our last answer when telling you to discern, be discerning as to which of these mediums you go to. Well, even with the channelers, let us talk to you about this. Always use your discernment with all of the channelers, and we're going to say that even with our dear Stacy. What happens with the channelers, there is a meld that happens. Again, we are going to use our experience with Stacy. She is the human. We access the words that are in her library or her vocabulary. She helps us to choose those words. Even now, she is asked to be put aside a bit. But even now, on another, remember, you are multidimensional beings. So on another level, she is still helping us, pulling the words, so to speak, in this communication. Now, with that said, with all of the channelers, including the channelings with our dear Stacy, we would say to you, always practice discernment, because there are times wrong words are used, and one wrong word could change the whole meaning. Now, you have noticed many times we have said to Stacy, no, that is not the word we are wanting. But there are some moments where we are not, where the communication is going so quickly that going back to choose a different word would, how can we say, would trip up the flow of the communication, you see. Sometimes you are not knowing it, but we are correcting the verbiage as we go forward. Perhaps we are not correcting the verbiage in the moment, but we are correcting the verbiage as we go forward. There is much back and forth conversation between Stacy and us as we are in this space. You are hearing Stacy's voice, you are seeing Stacy's physical body, but there is a lot of back and forth communication that is occurring even now in this moment, where we are conversing back and forth while we are downloading information, while we are speaking, while Stacy is helping us choose the words. There's much going on here. So, also, with all of the channelers, the majority of channelers are also given visuals, and we give the visuals because that is part of telepathic communication, and it is through the visuals coupled with the subtle information that is being given through, again, more telepathic communication. The visuals help to support the communication. However, sometimes the channelers will, when they are seeing the visual, sometimes there is a miscommunication in what they are seeing. Now, most times going forward, that gets corrected. Maybe not in the moment, maybe not even going forward in the original channel. Perhaps it is corrected at another time, or more expansion is given. That not so much that they get the, how can we say, that they get the interpretation wrong, but perhaps they're not getting the full interpretation of what they are not interpreting the fullness of what they're seeing. So this is why it is very important for each of you to use discernment, your own personal discernment, your own sovereignty over what you are going to believe and what you are going to allow yourself to believe through even the channelers. You are sovereign over that, you see. And you are responsible for what you are allowing yourself to take in. Now, the majority of the channelers have very high integrity. If they mess up, it is corrected, and they will openly let you know they misunderstood something, and they will correct it. There are some who will not do that. So this really we know we are being long on this before we get to an actual answer, because it is really important for each of you not to give your power over or your authority over even to those of us in the non-physical. You see, just because those of us in the non-physical are saying it does not mean you need to accept it as truth. Now, we are not lying to you, but you are still sovereign over what you believe. You will hear Stacy, you will hear us say many times, Stacy is rolling her eyes at us because she is not believing, or she is not that she is not believing, but she sometimes, her human will question us. And we welcome that because she is in her sovereignty. Just because we are partners does not mean that she accepts everything that we are saying without question. We welcome this, you see. We welcome this from her, and we are very grateful to have this sort of partner. Because she will let you all know, oh, I don't really buy into this. We love when she does this, and we are wanting you to do this as well. Question it. Question it. In the question, and it is not because we are not saying question it because we are lying to you. We're saying it, question it, so that you can go a little bit deeper with it, so that there can be an expansion on the information. Because many times when Stacy questions us, or she gives us one of her famous eye rolls, it gives us the opening to expand a little bit more, and then we see her go, oh, okay, you see. So ask and question. Indeed, do not take anything the channelers say, any of us, at face value. Also understand, when we are in this space of channeling, we believe Stacy's, we are reaching out to, yes, she has already addressed this, that in these channelings, you are not getting all of the information in the spoken word. Now, you are all getting it energetically. You are all getting the downloads the same way Stacy is getting these downloads. You are getting them. In the speaking, in how we are doing this now, especially when we are talking about larger concepts, you are not getting all of the information in the words. You see. And perhaps, again, we are reaching out to Stacy because she used an excellent example one time that you can consider a channeling written out on a whole piece of paper, but in the actual spoken word, it is condensed to one paragraph. Basically, the main points of the download, or the main points of the transmission, is being spoken. So when you ask questions, or perhaps when we say something, because we are not expanding on it, there's not a fullness there for it. And so this is where you can come in and ask these questions for expansion, and then we can bring in more of that information, you see, to actually speak it. Again, you are getting as much as the information as Stacy is getting. You are getting the complete download, just as she is getting it. And it is available for you. And then sometimes, perhaps, after a couple of days after one of our visits, perhaps you are not understanding something in the moment, and then you sit with it for a couple of days, and suddenly an understanding comes. And that is because you have also received the download, and now you are pulling it up. Huh? You are opening, how do you say, you have these files on your computer, these compressed files. You call them these zip files. Basically, the communication, the transmission is downloaded in a zip file, and over time you are opening it. You see, it is becoming uncompressed, and you're opening the complete file.